Hello, I'm Tim Beggins, president of the Elk Trading Company. In this, the natural gas weekly recap. Natural gas prices have rebounded, currently trading 331, up 5.7 cents or 1.75%. As you can see here from the spot June contract, we are still well contained within our two Bollinger Bands. And right now, we are above that lower support level at 313.60. The Bollinger midpoint comes in at 345.80. And our high today, well, it isn't even close. It's 334. So we're going sideways, but slightly higher. That's a good thing. Our tweezer bottom that we had earlier this week just did not materialize to the upside. That's typically a bullish breakout indicator, but it failed to follow through in the next 2 days. So what are we going to do? Well, let's take a look at the hourly chart. As you can see, using the pivots here, we're well above our first pivot support at 320, and we're right above the daily pivot at 329.10, and then tested as high as 334.30. That's our first pivot resistance. So a good move here to the upside on some profit taking ahead of the weekend, but looks like things are just going to probably go sideways. The RSI says we might go a little higher and test that 334.30 area today before we close out for the week. Now, option expiration is Tuesday. Futures expiration is Wednesday. For the option expiration, the highest strikes are at 3.25 and then $3. So looks like we may be contained between those two strikes. Let's take a look at the front to back spreads. This is the Jan versus the June contract. We'll switch this out next week because July will then be spot by Thursday. So as you can see here, we're up just 1.3 cents at 168.40, well above the break even at $1.60. And looks like on the MACD, it is trying to turn higher, which means that the front is probably contained. The back of the board is going to start moving out as we look to see the future with weather, hurricanes, and, well, let's see demand. And here's the Jan versus the October spread. Again, we're well above our break even at $1. It is still well above that 109.80 support level that was once resistance. And here we're still above about 110. So that is our first support level at this stage. Again, the MACD is trying to turn higher here. So that's moving average, convergence, divergence. We're looking to see if we can get some support and continue this uptrend. So let's see what's been containing natural gas prices. Well, the storage report. Storage report yesterday was plus 120. We're now up to 2.375, or that TCF in the ground. We're going to try and head toward 4 TCF before November the 1st. But right now, it is still injecting very heavily on some moderate temperatures. And again, some good renewable energy power here in ERCOT. So let's take a look at the temperature forecast. The 8 to 14-day temperature outlook is below normal, and that includes parts of Texas all the way over to the southeast, mainly around Alabama and Mississippi for below normal temperatures. But right now, this is going to push more natural gas into storage. The west remains well above normal at this stage, as you can see, even the upper Midwest. The temperature outlook for the weeks 3 to 4, this is really into the first 2 weeks of June, is above normal temperatures now for Texas and across the southeast. So this will be supportive of the market. Let's take a spotlight into ERCOT today. As you can see, right now it is still doing well here for both solar and wind. Our outlook for today is that we're going to reach about 39,000 for the combined this afternoon for both wind and solar. The forecast actually came in a little bit stronger. So initially, the day ahead forecast was around 75,000 megawatts. We're looking today around 79,000 megawatts for total demand. And the power guys, the energy storage resources, did discharge this morning into the power load for breakfast, but they're looking for that evening pinch. As you can see here, the ERCOT system gets pinched when wind and solar die out later in this afternoon toward about 8 to 10 o'clock p.m. So let's look at NOAA. NOAA confirmed what we heard from Colorado State. They're looking for a above normal hurricane season for the Atlantic in 2025, which begins next week, June 1st. And they're forecasting 13 to 19 total storms, Of those, 6 to 10 are forecast to become hurricanes. And of those, 3 to 5 will be major hurricanes. This mimics the above normal forecast again for Colorado State. And we've got the drought. We continue to have progressively expanding drought here from San Antonio all the way back toward California and much of the West. This is typical of an ENSO summer. And let's take a look at crude oil. Crude oil right now is up. It is up 61 cents, excuse me, to 61.41. And it is still well contained on this downtrend. Now, some things are coming up, which will possibly push things a little bit lower. And that's OPEC Plus is going to discuss another output in increase here in July. So they're meeting June 1 in Vienna. So what's happening next week? Well, we've got a lot of things. We've got the Chinese are meeting with the United States on tariffs today in Geneva. We've got the Iranians meeting the US to talk about peace talks in Rome. And now we've got Vienna coming up here on June 1st to talk about OPEC output. And of course, Trump decided to throw a threat to the EU of 25% tariffs, excuse me, 50% tariffs starting June 1. So next week is a headline week. Watch the tape. It's going to be very volatile. And let's take a look at our stocks for the week. Right now, as you can see, we're up a little bit for CNX and Comstock. These are the stocks that have, this is from the oil and gas E&P sector, they between $2 and $10 billion on market cap and have a high short float over 10%. As you can see, this is for today. They're doing quite well, but for the week, we're down. And the worst has been right now, Northern Oil and Gas down 5.89%. So watch out for what happens next week with the OPEC. Watch the tape. If OPEC announces a output that is lower than expectations, which right now is about 445,000 barrels per day, there's been a lot of shorts into this market for the last couple of weeks. Watch to see if they cover into that. So let's recap. Right now, currently, natural gas is up, trading 329.40, up 4.3 cents or 1.32%. Please let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit that like and subscribe button. Thanks for listening. We'll see you soon.